Okay, I think we're going live right now. So, hey everybody, this is Scott from Little Kids Rock, and today we're going to do a little bit of practice with our right hand. And this is for anybody at any level that just wants to work on their right hand playing. So, you can do this on guitar, you can do this on any instrument you want to strum on. I mean, bring out a cello for all I care, that could be cool too. Because we're going to start off with concepts that don't actually even use chords. So starting off, everyone shake that out. You probably have a little pick in your hand. If you don't, you can use your fingers if you want to. But let's start off with this. Just grab the strings and try to make sure we're getting this sound. So you'll notice I'm pushing just a little bit. I'm touching the strings, and it could be anywhere. Just to try to get its dead sound. Okay? I'm going to start a metronome, but my metronome is going to be a drum machine. Let's check this out. Cool. And right off the bat, let's just try to find the beat. And for now, let's just go down on that beat. Good. Maybe we'll start mixing up a little. Let's try eighth notes, twice as fast. And you notice I'm going up and down now. Back to quarters. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go to down and up. Okay, for the next couple times, I'm going to do a beat and see if you can respond to me. My turn, here I go. It helps if you all say it while you're doing it. Down, 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 up, down. Or you can say it on notes, you know it. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I guess rhythm's not notes. 1, 2, and 3, and 4. 4, down, down, up, down, up, down. Down, up, down, up, down, down. Down, up, down, up, down, down. Down, up, down, up, down. A little trickier. Down, up, down. Let's do it 2 more times. Down, up, down. Let's do it again. Down, up, down. Pretty good. Now let's take the tempo a little slower. By the way, for those of you guys wondering how I'm getting my cool drummer playing along with me, I literally just went into GarageBand for the first time ever on this computer, opened it up, and it asked me if I wanted drums. And I said yes. And that's what happened. And then all I had to do was find the button that let me loop it. So that's what I'm using. And it was super easy. So I'm going to slow this tempo down to about 88 right now. Let's see how this sounds now. Good. This should give me an ability to play a little bit differently now. Let's get in that pulse. Now's a good time to do a little bit of your own thing. Okay, let's start off, once again, let's just do the quarter notes, 2 quarter notes, and 3, 4, 1, 2. Now let's go eighth notes, but down, 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 down. Good, because we're going to next go to 16th notes, or 4 times per beat. Here we go, and now let's go back to the eighth notes. And back to quarter notes. Great. All right, let's start there for a minute. Do a little bit of discussion, and then we'll dive into some stuff. So, hopefully by now you're having a good time and your right arm is feeling nice and, shake it out a little bit. So now's a good time if you're questioning if you're holding the pick properly or not. So Here I have my pick. I always use the same pick. It's this Dunlop purple one that I like so much. And basically, I'm dropping the pick onto my thumb so that it points down. And then it's like an extension of that first finger, right? Now, you can hold your pick differently, and lots of guitar players use a pick a little bit differently. So I don't like to focus too much on that technique. But it's kind of like, a baseball bat. If you've ever gone out and tried to swing at a ball, they tell you if you go all the way down to the end of the bat, you're going to end up not having as much control. And if you go too high, you might hit your fingers on the ball. It's the same thing with a pick. We're really going to want to make sure that I leave a little bit of room, but not too much room. You don't want to be way over here. You don't want to be way down here. You want to be just the point where you can safely go through the strings without having your fingers touch them. And you'll notice when I'm going through, for me, I'm really just going perpendicular direct to those strings. Some people go more at an angle and kind of curl off the side. It's whatever's most comfortable for you. And what you're going to find is the more you're trying to build up speed, sometimes it'll be harder. Also, you're going to pluck one note way differently than multiple notes. And I'm going to spend some time working on chords now for a while and different patterns of chords. But afterwards, we're going to talk about just one note. And just a reminder, if you have any questions, you can send them to the links below, which is the live stream at littlekidsrock.org. And then I could respond to them near the end of this video. Okay, so I'm going to put back on my beat, but before I do that, let's grab a chord, and let's do a simple chord. Maybe the easiest chord there is, the E minor chord. So I'm going to take these fingers, or these fingers, or these fingers. I don't care which fingers you use, but you're going to put them in strings 5 and 4 on the 2nd fret. Yes. Get that nice sound. I'll probably use my 2nd and 3rd fingers. That's what I usually do on this chord. The chord doesn't really matter. You can do this on any chord, but we're going to stick on this one for a while. Because this isn't about the left hand, it's about the right hand. Let's get our beat. Let's start off again, just find the pulse. Explore a little bit. Okay, now I'll do some patterns, and I'm going to repeat them about 4 times each, and you can join me. How about this for the first one? 1, 2, and 3, and 4. How about this one now? Let's go. Down, up, down, 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 up. 1 and 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Great. Awesome. So now let's try another pattern. How about this one? Just 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and. Some of you guys are wondering, does it matter where I strum, up here versus down here? Let's find out. I'm going to just take a new pattern. How about 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Wherever you're strumming is going to change the sound of what you're doing. So So if I'm moving way back here, it's going to get a little tinier, a little brighter. Up here is what we call more tosto or more full. So those are different sounds, and different guitar players use them at different times for different reasons. When you're composing, always think about how you can create different sounds by doing little things like moving your arm around. Okay, let's do a couple more, but let's start adding some syncopation. So once again, syncopation just means changing it up so we're not accenting the beat. In other words, we're going to make the in-between beat sound a little bit more juicy, a little bit more excited. And that means my upstrokes are going to get a little bit more attention. So I'll do 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, and. Great. And maybe this time we'll add a little bit more to it. But let me slow this down because this might be tricky for some of y'all. I cannot emphasize this enough. There is nothing like a guitar player who can be smooth with what they're doing. If you're just playing up and down, it's going to make such a difference versus kind of stuttering and stopping in different spots. If you're doing some weird stuff. I'll demo that just for a second with our new beat, which is much slower, and you'll hear it's not quite as smooth. Now it's 60 beats per minute or 1 beat per second. So now notice this. Doesn't sound quite as smooth if I do that same pattern. Always moving up and down evenly. Let's try another pattern. How about 1 and 3, 4 and about that. 1 and 3, 4 and 1 and 3, 4 and down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down. Cool. So now we have a couple of different syncopated patterns. You might be wondering what I was doing when I stopped the strings. And a lot of people ask about this. Let me turn off the beat for 1 second. So this is a really important technique for guitar players where you have your guitar like this, and here's the bridge right here, right? If I put my hand down, I can stop the strings. Now, you can place it anywhere. You can do it anywhere you want to, but usually it's right about here, a couple inches in front of the bridge. And what I'll do is I'll put my hand down, and then I'll pluck across the strings. And I get that sound again. But the goal is to do it in one motion, like this. And I recommend just sit there and work on that till you get a chop. I'm literally placing and striking through in the same motion. One of my favorite things to do while practicing when I was younger is just turn on the TV and play to nothing. Because I can do this with a steady beat while I'm not paying attention. I can do it while I'm talking. And it's just an opportunity for me to reinforce a muscular concept. So everything we're doing here, you can do while you're watching TV, while you're listening to a podcast, with whatever you want to be doing. As long as you don't need your hands for it, of course. So, maybe now practice down, stop, down, stop. Let's turn back on our beat and let's do a couple variations with this stop. And then we'll get to some single note stuff. Here we go. Down, stop, down, stop, down, stop, down. Now we do the same thing but down, up, stop, down, up, stop. Down, speed it up a little bit. Just a little. We'll go to about, I don't know, maybe 80. 76 it is. 76. Let's try it again. Good. 2. Same pattern. Down, up, stop. Down, up, stop. I know what you're thinking, right? Alright, let's try another pattern. How about this one? Down, up, stop. Up, down, up, stop. Up, down, up, stop. Up, down, up. Great. So another thing I think is really important for us to be able to do is really subdivide the beat, and as we get to be better players, learn how to play in a bunch of different meters as well in different feels. So another exercise I like to work on is the difference between playing 8th notes and 16th notes, but in between that, putting on some triplets. Now, what does that mean? A triplet is when I break up that beat into 3 even notes. First, there's 2 even notes for an 8th note, or 4 in a 16th. Now, to give an example of that, let me turn back on my trusty beat here. I'm actually going to, this might be a little bit easier, about 88. And playing. Cool. So, my beat again. Or. And 8th notes, as we know, we're down, up, right? Or it could be just down and twice in a row if you want to. For now, let's do down, up, down, up. And 16th notes will be 4 of those, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Count those. 1 E, 2 E, 3 E, 4 E, 1 E, 2 E, 3 E. You'll notice when I'm playing faster, I'm just trying to keep real relaxed. Real relaxed, not tensing up and thinking, oh my god, I gotta do this fast, because then I'm gonna end up having more problems. So, of course, one of the biggest problems that we have with triplets is if we're going down and up, well, 3 makes it hard to just continue going down and up. So there's a couple ways to do this. One is to just go down and up and hope it works out. My beat is here, so it's triple good, triple good, triple good, triple good. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But if I strum down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, that feels a little bit weird. So a lot of times what I'll do actually is I'll go down, up, down, down. Let's practice that a little bit slower. Let me slow it down. By a little bit, I mean a lot. All right, right about there. 67 is the magic beat. So think 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, down, up, down, down. So you notice what I'm doing is that second down, the one that's on the 3, it's a little softer. I'm doing that naturally because I'm trying to make sure I'm still connecting with that beat on the 1, so you can hear it. 1, 2, 3. So why is this important to learn it all? Let's do it with just one string now. We're going to do it on just the lowest E string, because a lot of times we'll use this in melodies. So let's go quarter, 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 quarter. Sorry, 1 second. Just want to make sure my questions computer is staying open. So quarter, 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 quarter. And then 8th notes, 8th notes, 8th notes, 8th note, down, up. Notice how much more controlled my pickings? I'm actually even putting my finger there to help me a little bit. I don't need it there, but I like it there. It helps me control more. And now I'll go to triplets, where I'm going. down, up, down, 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 down, up, down. And then 16ths. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E. Back to triplets. Triplet, 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 triplet. So, just one more reminder, if you have any more questions, you can send them my way. In about maybe 4 or 5 minutes, I'll go into those. But for now, let's finish off with a little bit of a couple extra exercises. Hopefully you're working on that. We can do this on any string. So let's bring it up, maybe to our high E. For now, I'm just doing 8 notes. Maybe some 16ths. Triplets. Quarter. And I can bring up the tempo a little bit. And let's do it with just the 8th notes. I'm sorry, not just the 8th notes, just the 6th string. And let's take it faster. What do you guys think? How about 90? Great. So also, you know, I gotta tell you, if you don't know, I like doing this with a little bit of distortion. Because it's a little bit more fun, I think. Throw on some distortion. Oh yeah, that's cool. And you'll notice I'm going to do it with my distortion. Now I'm going to really work on my palm muting to help me really separate the notes. That's where I put my palm right where it meets the bridge, and I leave it there. So it gives a little bit of a deader sound. This is open. And this is with palm mute. Too much palm mute, slide it back, slide back. Ooh, get better. There's where I want. Not enough. But when you're using palm mute, it's really dead. So I'm going all downstrokes here, right? If you have your other arm free, you can be like triplets. And let's move to 16ths. How about that? A lot of metal and rock and hard rock stuff, they just vary the pattern with one string like that, like. So you can see a lot of that. You have a lot of variation with just a little bit of palm mute, some distortion, and all sorts of fun ideas. So, but you can also use these concepts with acoustic guitar, with anything that you want to do. So I'm going to stop this, and we've got a couple questions. So the first question that came in is, can you do this on your bass? Or how can you do this on your bass? Absolutely, you can do this on your bass. Now, first of all, you can always play bass with a pick. Absolutely. Lots of famous bass players do use a pick in all sorts of genres of music. So everything you do here, you can. You're just going to want to be careful about the type of pick you use. If you use a really thin pick, it's not going to last very long on your bass, I imagine, and it's going to be a little too bendy. And you'll notice the thickness of your pick matters a lot in this. If you have a really thin pick, and I know a lot of singer-songwriters are playing acoustic guitar like a thin pick because it glides a little easier. For me, I find that when I'm trying to pick fast, a lot of times because it's so bendy, it will get stuck between the strings, and I can't use it as well. So with a bass, you're probably going to want a pretty thick pick to make sure you can really do that. I know a lot of bass picks are actually even a little bit bigger. Like the shape of the pick itself is larger. So you can do that the same way, but also all these rhythms we practiced, you can do the same way with just using your fingers. And it's a really good example to do it by thinking of this is your upstroke and this is your downstroke, or the other way around. It's funny, we actually took a little survey with a bunch of bass players to see which they would put on the beat, middle finger or index finger. I typically start with my middle finger on the beat, so I'd go middle, index, middle, index. But I know a lot of other bass players like starting with their index. They go index, middle, index, middle. I think it's good to be able to do both. So that's definitely one way to do this on the bass. Let me see if we have any other questions. How about when you have 16th notes, but you're not playing them straight? So yeah, a lot of songs do this kind of thing where you can get a little bit confused because all of a sudden they're tossing in some 16th notes. I've been playing through some recently that like... we have like a quick flourish like that. But the beauty of it is, if the 16th notes are fast and you still go down and up, you'll still stay on that beat. So like, if it's like... So I'm still kind of staying on the beat with what I'm doing. The hand just will pick up. I'm still always trying to do what's probably most important. Down on the beats. It keeps them strong. So, this is a lot of different kind of ways to use your right hand. The question is, of course, what do you do next? Obviously, everything we worked on, you could practice with switching chords. For the finger exercise on my low string, I could do the same thing. Or... and make different patterns up just to get your fingers connecting, which is really important. You can start adding in additions. Like you'll find that maybe the next selection, if I have my E minor chord, would be doing things like this. Well, you notice I just lifted my finger and then placed it back down. And add notes. All those little bits are what you find really makes good, expressive right-hand players and rhythm players in general, which is super duper important. I am a lead guitar player primarily, but there was nothing worse, especially when I was growing up, being a guy that would show up and you'd play some leads and you'd jump in on rhythm guitar and another guitar player would play some leads and then was like, oh, no, I don't play rhythm guitar. I don't know how. I only play leads. And that happens a lot. The most important thing you can do is get your right hand chops together and focus on rhythm, because I tell you, that's where everything starts. And it will just, all of your rhythm playing will make your lead playing better. Okay, I'm going to sign off for now. Look forward to seeing y'all soon. And tomorrow, I believe we have 2 more sessions, which I know I'm looking forward to. I believe the morning session is using Caribbean rhythms, and then I think there's something in the afternoon. It's probably a technology session. I should have looked that up before I got on here. But anyways, thank you guys again, and looking forward to making some more music soon.